Welcome, soul brothers and sisters. My name is Frank van den Tillaart and I am broadcasting live today from Tilburg, the Netherlands. I am so excited to share with you the coming hour about this topic, faith in God, in which I basically explain how and why I have come to the realization that God is truly infinite. And if we accept the definition that I'm going to share with you, then faith truly has everything in it that we need in order to combine the needs of our spirit, our spiritual needs, with our human journey and what it means to actually live our life aligned with God and humanity. The basis of this premise is that we are all spiritual beings living a human life, and our human consciousness always only experiences the now moment. The now, the now, the now. However, as our consciousness connected to God experiences this now moment, we do go through the ups and downs of life. That is the human condition, where in one moment we are more happy and in another moment we are more sad. It is my personal goal to make it as easy as possible to deal with our downs while enjoying our ups. And one of the basic formulas that I use for that is that positivity is more important than negativity. Regardless of what dimension or what feeling or what physicality or what spiritual journey we currently go through, positivity is always more valuable than negativity. Which doesn't mean that negativity doesn't exist. It just means that we find a way to deal with the negative things in our lives. Another way of working with this is that I hope to align with you so that together we can align the things we do in life and how we do them in life, so that we get the maximum benefit from our faith. We get the maximum benefit from translating that faith into our human daily journey. And these are a few of the things I want to discuss with you. Now, with all spiritual practices all over the world, I think there is one common thing that we all agree upon, and that is that focusing on our breathing is actually always a valuable exercise to get more centered, to get more focused into that now moment. So I would like to kick off with breathing in and out 3 times. Now, who am I and why do I have the audacity to talk about my knowledge, my wisdom? And in order to understand that a bit, let me share with you a bit of the pain story that I went through in my life. I have been from a very early age disconnected myself from my emotions, from my typical soul journey, perhaps, in order to start observing and analyzing my own thoughts, my own mind, my own journey through life. And eventually, this has led through some ups and downs and through some opening of Pandora's box to experiencing what I call my heaven on earth. When I dial my home number, it actually shows heaven on the display. However, that only lasted for a few short weeks, perhaps a few months. And then, as I came back more into this human reality that we share, I visited the other extent, the other extreme of that experience. And I describe that as going through hell, still living in this human body, living in this human earth. And I have since experienced some recovery into positive awareness and what it means to focus on happiness and joy and on the balance of positivity is more important than negativity. Also, while I was going through my hell, I kept revisiting and observing and analyzing whether negativity has any value throughout this human experience. And if it has such value, what value does it hold? The things I discovered in ourselves is that in a positive universe, there is no place for continued negativity. When a negative trigger appears, when a negative trigger happens, often there is a lesson associated with that, which makes it positive. Or the thing is inherently negative, which means we don't have to keep dwelling upon it, but we can put it in a box, perhaps visit the box once in a time, once in a few long times, to stay connected with our reality and how we experience our reality. But there is no value in staying in the negativity and talking about the negativity and using the negativity as an excuse in life to stop progressing. With that knowledge, I also came across a lot of spiritual people who I believe still need to do some personal development and to look inward. And putting it like that, it's not like my journey ever ends, it's not like my lessons ever end. But I hope to present today a framework in which we can talk about faith, in which we can talk about truth, and in which we can align our spiritual journey with our human daily journey. Another thing that I discovered is that there is power in acknowledging one source. It doesn't mean we have to call it God. It is just a word, a label I chose to connect with the one through infinity, which we will discuss in a few minutes. The reason I'm sharing all of this is that I like to set clear boundaries for going forward, which also means we live life in a true framework, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, bodily, physically, biologically, improved and with faith, because I believe that faith in and of itself is extremely valuable in discussing how we deal with life's circumstances. I also hope to align with all my soul brothers and sisters that eventually we are all one humanity and we are undivided no matter what different groups of people may say at different times. With the insights that I share today, I also hope that you gain a little bit more understanding of what it means to be free, to live in freedom, and also to have your own personality, as we are all unique individuals, part of that one human race. With those things having been said, there is some kind of universal truth which is universally true regardless of our perception. And then the way that we use that universal truth in our unique individual lives depends upon our personal perception, which I will get back to in the summary here. Another thing that is a personal goal of mine is to optimize the way we go through our daily, monthly, yearly lives in order to take the most value, or to bring the most value into the world. A little bit more of who I am. 36 years old at this point in time, living with a cat and a dog. Proud citizen of the kingdom of God, currently looking at where my own window went to. That's interesting. That is all windows. So one, two. Yeah. Oh, nice. Okay. Proud citizen of the kingdom of God, which means to acknowledge that Jesus is the king sitting on the throne. Jesus is a prime example of how we can deal with the hardships that are given to us and how we can deal with the daily challenges that are on our human journey. My 3D reality human journey in a bit more detail. At the age of 4, I closed off my emotional and spiritual connection, and I have been observing my consciousness, my mind, and the people around me up until the age of 27, when I went into an intensive 8-month nearly isolated period with a lot of meditation. At the age of 30, I met my twin flame, if you like to acknowledge that kind of concept. And she opened Pandora's box of my unprocessed emotions within me. So with a very clear mental framework that I established at around 27, suddenly emotions came over me. And at the age of 33, this led to some kind of awakening or psychosis, as Western medicine likes to call it. And now at age 36, I am ready to share all this knowledge and wisdom that I gained into the world. And I have a vehicle chosen for that, which I call Happiness Solutions, which provides insights into what are our spiritual needs, what is the role that God has for us, and how do we translate that into the processes and the activities that we perform on a daily basis. Why are we actually failing at or in faith? A lot of people believe, I will do it myself, which is a perfectly valid human reason, and we still have to move this body through our consciousness. We choose how we do that ourselves. However, always saying, I do it myself, also makes us susceptible to the strength we have within us, and there is no outside source any longer to retrieve more energy and hope from in the times that it's a bit more difficult to keep our heads above the water. We can also believe in many gods and demons, which I am not fully against. However, it does bring up a discussion of which god and which demon provides what benefit or what neglecting thing into our lives. And that decreases a little bit the strength that we get when we accomplish the oneness of the entire universe. We can also say, I know God provides the truth. However, I, as an individual, have free will, and I place my free will above the things that God has in place for us. We'll get back to that in a second. We can also be distracted by our daily human life and thus put the priorities on the things that seem important. However, they are not part of our spiritual needs, and thus they also distract us from our spiritual needs. Then another thing is that we may not call it God, we may call it source or universe or faith itself or humanity. And I just like to use the word God because to me it's all encompassing regardless of the different kind of meanings that people have attached to it. How can we succeed in faith? I believe it is a self-correcting definition, I think. I believe that a belief system that says about the following gives us all the strength and all the basis that we need in order to continue both our spiritual journey and our human journey in a unified way that allows our human consciousness to experience the now, with the most amount of consciousness and inner joy and outer happiness. And that belief system sounds a little bit like this. I acknowledge God as the source of goodness, truth, and all things positive. I apply free will and logic to what this means in my human life. This gives the ultimate power to the one source that we acknowledge, which we can then focus on exclusively without being distracted by all the other gods, the angels and demons, to find that which is true for us, for me individually. And this gives ourselves the free will to determine what it means to apply those principles in my personal, specific, unique life circumstances. What do we need to do in order to succeed? We need to have faith in faith itself. Once again, it's a self-correcting definition. If we don't have faith, then all faith cannot provide us with strength. If we choose to discard faith, then there is no power in faith. We need to acknowledge faith in and of itself in order to gain strength from it. We need to practice that faith. We need to meditate, we need to pray, and we need to reach out and connect to other people who also are on similar life paths, so that we are no longer dependent on our own unique individual view, but we can get in alignment with other people who have also gone through these processes and who may have additional knowledge and wisdom for where we are at a certain point in our life circumstances. If we begin with truth and faith, and we begin with source as that from which we all come, we can then ask ourselves, what role does source, does God have for us to perform in this human life? Source in and of itself goes beyond time and space and matter and energy. But in our human life, in this now moment, we only experience what is in front of us, or the thoughts we have now, or the feelings we have now. Our soul is always just aware of all those now figures. What do we need to do on a human perspective? We need to acknowledge that we decided when the earth spins one time, we call that 24 hours. And it doesn't matter whether we have faith or we don't have faith, whether we are rich or poor, sick or healthy. Everybody has those same 24 hours that we can fill with the activities and the experiences that we do and that we desire out of life. Another thing which spiritual people don't always do, we need to acknowledge that we have this one human body in which my personal experience comes into this reality, this shared reality that we have. And your human body is your portal from your spiritual being, from your spiritual needs, into your spiritual life or human life circumstances. When do we practice faith? When do we acknowledge God? When do we have a human body? From a very spiritual standpoint, from the connection into human consciousness, there is always only the now moment. So wherever we are on the map of life, our human consciousness experiences only that one moment, but it is part of the entire journey. It is part of the time we go through. It is part of the space that we occupy. So we practice faith now, but also always. We acknowledge God now, but also always. In a practical matter, as a practical matter, we say we have daily practices or perhaps weekly or monthly practices which we can shape around the things that are true for us at a point in time space where we are. Where do we practice faith? We practice faith anywhere, but always where our body currently is. So we can think about the past, we can think about the future. We can do so with a positive twist or a negative twist. Let's do the positive one. But we always think about those other times in space now. So where do we practice faith? Where we are in our body, which I would also say my ultimate home is not as much the place where I live, but my home is the body which I occupy. For whom do we practice faith? We practice faith in this particular way of looking at the world. We practice faith first and foremost for the kingdom of God. The kingdom of God is a way of saying, I believe and I have faith that the goodness that God has in mind for us, that it will come into fruition at a certain point in time-space reality. This acknowledges as well that from my personal perspective, I am only one, and you are only you. But together, we have more knowledge than each individual person. And that knowledge is accessible, for example, through prayer, and mostly also by connecting together. For whom do we practice faith in addition to the kingdom of God? We practice faith for ourselves. Be practical about it. When our buckets of energy are empty, and when we are in that negative state of mind, and there is nothing left to give, we can be very altruistic, and we can say we do things for other people if we have that kind of energy. But the first priority would be to connect to the kingdom of God, to fill your bucket once again, so that instead of having a hole in the bottom, we have an overflowing bucket of energy and positive experiences in which we can help each other creating the kingdom of God as heaven on earth together. And this is really something that I am looking forward to create heaven on earth, or what it stands for, together with my friends and my family, my acquaintances, and all of my soul brothers and sisters. Now, one summary, one way of looking at this is the following. From the universe, time, space, from everything that we cannot fully understand, there comes faith, which I call God, which is kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. By believing in faith, faith gives me all kinds of stuff. Next on that ladder, that is timeless, that is always true, is that we have one human race, and we want to be in alignment with our thoughts and our feelings and the actions we do and the way we communicate about it. And one of the prime examples of that, or the prime example of that, has been Jesus, which we can use as a template on how to fill our life. Now, once again, a timeless truth is each of us is unique and an individual, and we all have a personality, and we all experience the consciousness in waves that go up and down. And from that pyramid, I would say, we get into the now moment, so the translation from the timelessness into now. Instead of truth, it should say personal truth or personal perspective, which is a culmination from everything that happened in our past, which we call our past story. And also, we draw into the now all the possibilities we see for the future, whether we worry about them negatively or we fantasize about them positively. We are always in that personal truth, in our personal perspective. And I like to see that as the foundation on which I build my faith and humanity and myself. At the bottom half of this image is all of the hours of the day which we go through, all the days of the week, all the weeks of the months, all the months of the years, and all the years of our lives. So there is a lot of different perspectives in which we can go through time, and there is one perspective which connects us to the timeless space, time, energy continuum, of which God is our source. What is the value if you sign up to faith? The value is that by signing up to faith, by acknowledging that faith in and of itself can be a valuable thing, is that you go onto a journey in which you can explore more and more and more and more of what faith has to offer us. And through faith, through acknowledging God as the one source, we get access to joy. Because I believe in faith, I believe that God has a joyful life in store for me. Because I believe in God, I believe that God provides happiness in whatever moment I go through. Because I believe in faith, because I believe in the oneness of humanity, we get guidance by talking to each other. We get guidance by using knowledge and wisdom that all other people have already shared, and by applying that into our own personal lives. We don't have to think of everything ourselves. And we get access to a family of brothers and sisters all over the globe who also acknowledge that faith is a thing that unites us instead of that separates us. In other presentations, I may talk about what does it cost to sign up, but in this presentation, I can be very easy and I can summarize. It costs nothing to sign up. The value that you get is beyond anything we can measure in financial wordings. The value that we get is the connection to each other, the connection to humanity, the connection to living a life within the boundaries of truth, a life that allows us to live in freedom, to express our personality, to express our individual consciousness, and do all of that in good faith, with the best of intentions, to the best of our abilities, whatever place we are currently scattered in our map of human life circumstances. Imagine the possibilities that you get when you acknowledge faith and whichever name for God you want to use into your life. You get guidance from beyond the current relations that you have. You get guidance from above. You get a positive outlook on life, which means that instead of keeping worrying about things, we put all worries in the hands of God, and in our human consciousness, in the now moment that is given us, we get the strength and the boldness and all the things we need in order to actually make progress in our lives. You can stand on the shoulders of giants, like using Jesus as an example, like looking at other people around you, picking the best things and leaving the worst. There is only one choice that is remaining, and that is the choice for you as an individual to connect to faith or to extend your connection to faith. I hope to hear from you soon. There is all kinds of ways to contact me. I'm sure you can find them if time and space and current energy are aligned so that we can build a better life together and make the processes and the activities that we go through as easy as possible. If you like happiness solutions, that is. Until then, I wish you, all of you, all the best. Dear soul brothers and soul sisters, until next time.